Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Acqina and today we are going to be looking at the things that Infinity Kingdom does well that Rise of Kingdoms can learn from. If you play Rise of Kingdoms or Infinity Kingdom and you want to see the difference between these two games, how you can grow in each one, learn a bit more about each game, or you just want to follow along about how KVK or the other server is going, please make sure to like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you are notified when a new video is posted. Thank you again to everyone that has supported the channel so far. Right, let's start off with Rise of Kingdoms. Just want to start off by saying I do really love playing Rise of Kingdoms. Although there's a lot going around now about how the state of the game isn't in a good place and there's a lot of work needed to be done in order to fix what was once a really good and healthy game, I still enjoy playing it. However, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be critical and think of ways that it can improve to become a better game further down the line. To start off with, I wanted to say a few things that I think Rise of Kingdoms does really well. Let's start off with open field movement. Open field movement in Rise of Kingdoms is pretty much second to none, especially on the mobile platform. You have the ability to move your march whatever direction you want, dispatch it in any location that you want it to go to. You'll be able to fight 5 marches all doing different things, all targeting different marches should you want them to. It makes open field fighting truly something exciting and personal depending on how you choose to fight. Another thing that I think Rise of Kingdoms does well is Arc of Osiris. Arc is phenomenal. Getting a 30v30 game mode that has so much strategy and depth behind it is like no other game that I've played. Rise of Kingdoms should be commended for this brilliant game mode. And not to mention Osiris League, where the best teams in both respective realms of Anubis and Horus match up to try and crown who is the ultimate victor. And the last thing I want to mention is the chat system in Rise of Kingdoms. I know the rock chat is subject to a lot of different bugs, such as photos taking long to load or generally bugging out and not showing you messages, but for the majority the chat system is brilliant at allowing you to stay in touch and communicating with the people that you need to, whether that be via private chat that you create of the leaders of your alliance, to a kingdom-wide title chat or a kingdom-wide war room. All of these chats can be created really easily, and it helps to bring the social side to the forefront of the gaming experience. However, there are many things that Rise of Kingdoms can learn from Infinity Kingdom, and although Infinity Kingdom is only a few weeks old since its global launch, there are some things that that game does brilliantly that would really benefit Rise of Kingdoms as a game longer term. Now, I know it wouldn't be fair to compare Infinity Kingdom to Rise of Kingdoms purely because Rise of Kingdoms has had 2-3 years of development time versus Infinity Kingdoms, it's been in a beta period for a substantial period of time and in its global launch. It's not comparable in that respect, but I do think it's fair to be able to look at Infinity Kingdom and think about what Rock can do in order to improve it going forward. One of the main things that I think Infinity Kingdom does brilliantly is its ability to allow the player to upgrade or grind for whatever they want in the game. Take for example the market. The market is a brilliant feature in this game that really helps every player to improve their current immortals that they own. The market is a place where you can spend a currency known as soul crystals, which you can obtain through the Alchemy Lab and from the ship, or even through bundles. You can spend your soul crystals here in the market to get the immortal soul crystals of the immortal you're currently trying to bring up. Take for example Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar currently has 55 out of 60 epic immortal soul crystals. He's only 5 away from achieving his next skill. Those 55 epic immortal soul crystals were obtained purely from the market. I didn't have to get any immortal soul crystals for Julius Caesar from the Hall of Immortals. I was able to take the soul crystals I had and invest them in the market specifically for him. And this is the exact same for equipment. Take for example this elite piece of gear. You are required to use enchant stones to improve the level of it. Although it doesn't increase in tier, these enchant stones can still be used to level up that piece of gear, and these are obtainable through grinding and defeating gnomes. And this does lead me on to the second thing, and it is interrelated to what I've just spoken about, that Infinity Kingdom does really well, and it's the Alchemy Lab. The Alchemy Lab I'm telling you now, if this was in Rise of Kingdoms, would be an absolute godsend. There are 3 different things you can do in the Alchemy Lab. First thing is to be able to dismantle existing soul crystals for your immortals. I'm not working on Tomogozan, so I can exchange her current immortal soul crystals for generic soul crystals that I can then put into the market for an immortal that I am actually working on. And you can do this with ease for all of these different immortals that you are not working on. Let's take a look at my Charles. Charles has 65 legendary commander sculptures that are pretty much useless. Now I know you can say, oh well, you can exchange them in the Past Glory event in stage 3 to get the coins that you can then buy 20 universal sculptures with. I mean, yes I can, but I have more than enough blue, green and purple sculptures that I can invest into that event to be able to max out everything in the shop. So therefore it brings us to, well, what is the point of having these extra commander sculptures if I could then exchange them? Now it doesn't have to be for a 1-for-1 value, because that would tilt the balance of the game and make it almost too easy to get these legendary commanders, but something that can help aid me in improving other legendary commanders that benefits all players in the game, not just spenders, not just free to play, but all. It is one of the most frustrating things when you open a golden key and you get a full legendary commander that you've already expertised. It's hard enough to get any commander sculptures in the golden keys based on their current drop rates, but to get one that you've already expertised just seems a bit pointless. The second thing in the Alchemy Lab in Infinity Kingdom that is brilliant is Immortal Reborn. Immortal Reborn is a feature that allows you to essentially reset your current immortals. So let's take Samson. If I figured, okay, I don't want to invest in him anymore, I'd like to just reset him, take the immortal soul crystals from him, dismantle them and reinvest them into another immortal that I'm currently working on. It's simple. You just need to click Reborn, you get those crystals back, and then if you wanted, you can then exchange those crystals for generic soul crystals. Again, this is a feature that would be huge in Rise of Kingdoms. To be able to take some of the previous commanders that you've invested in and essentially reset them, so take them back to 0, because let's say you don't use them anymore and you'd rather it go into somewhere else. That can have a huge impact in allowing all players to be able to continually invest in the next best commanders that get released. Now I do understand that this will impact how much the old commanders are used, but if they're not being used anyway, then allow us the chance to reinvest them into commanders that we will use in the future. Take Khan. Now Khan still is one of the hardest hitting commanders if he's not swarmed down or targeted, but the way the game has shifted, Khan's usability and his impact both on the field and as a rally lead has significantly decreased. Now if I don't want to use Khan anymore, why don't I have the option to just reset this commander and put those legendary commander sculptures into someone that I may use in the future? So maybe I can replace Khan with William. The final feature of the Alchemy Lab is the Equipment Dismantle. Equipment Dismantle allows you to take a piece of equipment, to dismantle it and to get enchant stones in return. Now Rise of Kingdoms actually does something similar to this. If you are to go into your blacksmith and you go to the bottom tab, which is dismantling materials, you are able to dismantle materials similar to what you would be able to do in Infinity Kingdom. So I have no issues with this. The only issue I do have is to do with legendary equipment dismantling. Now I can understand some of the reasons Lilith have done this. There is a power balance they need to keep, and to give back all of these materials that you use to craft a legendary piece of gear would allow whales to exploit this and continually reforge pieces of equipment because they have so many blueprints. But I still believe that you should get what you invest into a piece of equipment back. Moving away from the Alchemy Lab now, and let's take a look at a really good feature that Rise of Kingdoms could benefit from, especially when it comes to training events. This golden button here, one-click speed up. I cannot tell you how beneficial this would be to bring into Rise of Kingdoms. One of the most painful things is when you have to train a significant number of troops and you don't have the gems, so you have to use the speed ups, but you have to click each speed up individually. Now I know you can batch press speed ups, but why not just give us the option, one click and your training's done. Literally, you click once and that's it, your training's finished. This would speed up queues of training so much more, especially when training is time limited. So for pre-KVK or for a Mightiest Governor event that there are many people competing for, and only a certain amount of people can train within that 4-hour period of the Kingdom buff. I feel like it's a win-win. Lilith just should put this feature straight into Rise of Kingdoms because it would benefit pretty much every player in the game. The next thing that Rise of Kingdoms can learn from Infinity Kingdom is the coin mint. The coin mint is a structure that allows you to convert your other resources, so your food, wood, stone and iron, into gold. Now gold is even more valuable in this game than it is in Rise of Kingdoms, due to the current weighting of food or other resources into gold. You can see, if I wanted to exchange food to gold, 1 million food is only worth 90k gold. In Rise of Kingdoms, 1 million food is equivalent to 400,000 gold. Now I know this coin mint isn't maxed out, but you can see that gold is valuable. Now all T5 players will know the pain of gold in Rise of Kingdoms. The cost of training, the cost of healing them, and the cost of dismantling and forging equipment. The availability of gold is really difficult in the game, and you need it in order to compete at the highest level. Yet, the amount of times that I've heard a player in Rise of Kingdoms mention, is anyone willing to trade wood for gold? Is anyone willing to trade stone for gold? Because they have so much of the other resource, but not enough gold. Why not allow us the chance to exchange those resources into the resource that we want, which is going to be gold? I think it's not that difficult a feature to put into the game, and it would benefit every single T5 player in Rise of Kingdoms. The next thing we're going to look at are the daily bundles in Infinity Kingdom. Daily bundles are priced exactly the same as they are in Rise of Kingdoms, but they work slightly differently. When you buy each bundle, you do get a variety of different items, such as AP, market orders, VIP points, speed ups. Pretty standard across both games. But the thing that is different is in each of these chests, you get a certain number of mystery pearls. These mystery pearls can then be exchanged for a certain number of epic immortal soul crystals. You can get a total of 20 mystery pearls per day and can invest them into whatever immortal you want here. So either Attila, El Cid, Alex or Saladin, or if you really wanted to, you could use them as well for speed ups. But the player knows immediately when they purchase those daily bundles, they are going to get a set number of immortal soul crystals. Now I think the recent changes to Rise of Kingdoms has been brilliant. The ability to choose which daily commander you want, rather than having to go through them tediously, going from El Cid, Julius Caesar to Mehmed, the changes have been great, that you can now switch and choose which commander you want. But that hasn't changed the fact that you just don't know how many legendary commander sculptures you're going to get in each of these chests. You can see the percentage chance there, and when you buy all 3 of these chests, you are guaranteed at least one. But the potential of getting one is so off-putting. Let us know the exact set number of legendary commander sculptures that we can get, and I think the amount of people buying them would increase. Continuing on the topic of value, a really good feature in Infinity Kingdom is the game rewarding players for opening a certain number of these Philosopher's Stones. By performing 10 advanced summons, you are guaranteed an elite or an epic immortal, and even if it's not the one you want, that is a significant boost to the amount of soul crystals that you can exchange in the Alchemy Lab. Golden keys provide such little value when you compare them to the Philosopher's Stone, and I do understand that they are slightly different. One of them is purely based on immortals, and the other one is based on some commanders and a variety of different items that you can also obtain in the golden chest. But why not offer a similar thing to Infinity Kingdom? For opening, it doesn't have to be 10, maybe for opening 20 gold keys, you are guaranteed a full epic or a full legendary commander. For many of the people that play Rise of Kingdoms, a full epic won't be that useful, but having the chance of getting a full legendary commander guaranteed a certain number of golden keys is definitely more motivating than not having that. Currently, many people just save their golden keys for Lucerne Scrolls. They don't really get excited until you've saved up a lot because the chance of getting anything is just so low. Just something to think about going forward for Rise of Kingdoms and changing the value of these golden chests. And the last thing I wanted to cover was the arena. I think the arena in Infinity Kingdom is done so well. Although you have less options in terms of who you want to attack or challenge, the rewards are just far greater. You can choose either a tier 3, a tier 2 or a tier 1 level opponent based on your current troop power. So you can see that my power is 46,000 for my best troop march. Tier 3 would be fighting someone higher or around the same level. 2 would be a competitive fight. Maybe you would have a slight edge or they would have a slight edge. And 1 would be one that you should be able to beat. And the more of these victory points that you obtain, depending on the tier of opponent that you choose, the more insignia that you get. You get a certain amount each day depending on the amount of victory points you obtain. These can then be swapped in the shop for specific Immortal Soul Crystals or Dragon Soul Crystals. This gives you another opportunity to boost and grind for your Immortal Soul Crystals that you are currently looking for. And this also refreshes each season. So we're currently in Season 1. You can see we have the opportunity to get Hippolyta and Harold. In Season 2, Cleopatra comes into play. And you can then exchange your current insignia for her. This type of exchange system makes it really appealing to spend your gems to ensure that you hit the highest possible reward each day from your arena. And not just this, you get rewards if you go up certain tiers. So they have Silver, Gold, Platinum and Master. When you enter a new tier for that season, you get another reward, and they are gems and more insignia points. And you also get rewards every day, further insignia points based on where you currently are. So I'm Gold 3, so I get 600 a day and 80 gems. Now that's a great way to reward players that want to play the game. And even more so if we look at the seasonal rewards. Now, number 1, I know I have absolutely no chance of getting to it. But currently, if I were to stay at rank 21, I would get 30 Wu Soul Crystals. Now that is an amazing reward for playing a game mode that doesn't take that much time out of your day. Yes, these season rewards don't come very often, but why can't we implement something similar to this in Rise of Kingdoms? If we compare the rewards for not just Sunset Canyon, but Lost Canyon as well, the rank 1 player at the end of each week, because seasons are a week long in Rise of Kingdoms, gets 5 golden keys, 20 60-minute speed ups, and some XP. Now that comparison makes the Rise of Kingdoms rewards almost look laughable. Why can't you make seasons a bit longer and really make it rewarding for improving your Canyon March and give us some legendary commander sculptures at the end of it? They don't have to be universal. Maybe a pick 1 chest of certain legendary commanders. Daily rewards as well. For most people, if you're not in the top 5, you're getting a silver key a day. I mean, who really needs a silver key anymore? I just think Canyon is a great game mode, and a lot of people put a lot of money, time and effort into improving their Canyon March to get as high a rank as possible. Let us be rewarded with something worth that time. And then Lost Canyon as well, the rewards are a bit better, but for finishing top 100 in a 50-day season to get 10 gold keys and 160-minute speed ups, there is potential for so much more there to reward the player and make it more enticing. But for me, personally, I'm not the best Canyon player as I focus on cavalry, but once I've got what I need in the shop, these rewards are also pretty average. They haven't changed the shop apart from Call of the Loyal since they first introduced it. Change it up, reward the player for their time and for being the best at this game mode. Now I know this may sound quite critical of Rise of Kingdoms, but I just believe the potential of the game is huge. Despite already being 2 or 3 years old, the game can learn a lot from Infinity Kingdom, and by no means am I saying Infinity Kingdom is perfect. It is a really fun game that does a lot of things well, but I think personally Lilith should take a look at the game and some of the points brought up in this video and make those changes to benefit all players of Rise of Kingdoms. They're currently talking and discussing about changes they're going to make to improve the game, not just for KVK but for loads of other areas, so now is that perfect opportunity to implement that change. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, pressing the bell as well for a notification when new videos are posted. Thank you for watching and for all of the support so far to the channel. I'll catch you all in the next video.